A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to this Monday evening edition of Sports Tonight. This is the first edition of Sports Tonight for the week. We look forward to a fantastic week, a week in which we will be doing a lot of profiling, of course, considering the mood of the nation. But I want to start by welcoming you to the show and also promise you that if you stay with us for the next 15 minutes, that I'll be bringing Sports Tonight to you this Monday. You will enjoy every bit of what we have put together for you. And we're really hoping that this week will be a lot better for us than the last one. My name is Toyin Ibitoye. I want to start off the show tonight by telling you that last week started on a very, very tragic note for us, particularly in Nigeria, and it ended Saturday morning on a tragic note. And I'm talking about what has come to be called the double loss for Nigeria. As you can see on your screen, that picture was taken during the Africa Cup of Nations in the year 2000. We hosted and we were losing finalists. We lost to Cameroon in the final. But of significance to us was the fact that Stephen Okechukwu-Keshi and Amadou Shoaibu were on the same technical bench for Nigeria during that competition. And afterwards, a few years after, both worked together in 2002 to qualify Nigeria for the World Cup that held in Korea and Japan. And last week, within 3 days, we lost both men. And we lost both men in Benin City, Edo State. And interestingly, Benin City, Edo State has held so much for these two personalities regarded by many as the best Nigerian coaches of their generation. Stephen Okechukwu-Keshi we lost on the 8th of June, and Amadou Shoaibu we lost Saturday morning on the 11th of June. And of course, it's been mourning ever since, condolences from far and wide. And the only thing we can say from this end is to pray that all that these men labored for, in terms of all that they were able to contribute to Nigerian football, that all will not be a waste. We pray that the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. It's been a very, very sober period for Nigerian football, and I think this has thrown up a whole lot of things for us in terms of the attention that we should be paying to the health of our coaches, because both men passed on under very similar circumstances. Bit of challenge with ill health, and they never came out of it. All right, but tonight on the program we will be talking about it. Of course, we will also want you to talk to us about it by means of feedback, and tell us exactly what you think should be done to honor these two men. Amadou Shoaibu has been buried according to Islamic rites that same day that he passed on, but Stephen Keshi's burial plans are still in the works, and we will want you to talk to us using the platforms that you see right there on your screen for feedback. How do we keep the memories of these two great Nigerian coaches, keep these memories alive, and make sure that all that they labored for and all that they wanted to see around Nigerian football comes to reality. All right, so it's left for you now to play your part by means of feedback. Talk to us, give us your opinion to issues on the platforms that you're seeing on your screen, on Facebook, on Twitter. We will try to be as active, as interactive as possible. Let's also tell you that you can follow us all across the world and be a part of what we're doing by watching us on our website, www.channelstv.com, as well as on youtube.com/channelsweb. If you want to watch us on your iPad, your iPhone, your BlackBerry, you want to be onto your home for the news, it's simple. Just click on m.channelstv.com, and you will be able to see us live seamlessly. And it gets even better for you if you can download the Channels app for Android, iOS, Windows from their respective stores. It keeps Channels even closer to you. You can stay with us 24/7 any time of the day and follow all that we're doing on Channels TV real time. All right, so the immediate responsibility is for you to talk to us and tell us what you think can be done to honor the two great coaches that we lost within 3 days last week. And of course, hoping that this new week will be a lot better in terms of positive stories, positive news for Nigerian football, Nigerian sports in general. All right, let's take you very quickly to Okwila. Okwila in Edo State is where late coach Amadu Shuaibu, that's where he hails from. Our man in Edo State, Channels correspondent Olumide Olalowakiton, put together a beautiful report on Shuaibu Amadu. We'll take that report, we'll come back, there's more for you on Sports Tonight. Join us again.
This is the country home of the former Super Eagles coach Shuaibu Amadu in the Edo area of Okwila, in Esako East Local Government area of Edo State. Sympathizers converge on the compound since the news of his demise broke, and as if to confirm their worst fears, the ambulance conveying his remains from Benin City, the Edo State capital, arrives, and family members struggle to keep their emotions in check.
He's too good a man, he's too kind-hearted.
Before long, preparations for his burial commenced in line with the Islamic religion, and the governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, NFF Secretary General, joined his family members at a prayer led by the chief imam of Okwila. His remains is lowered into his grave. With pains etched on their faces, some sympathizers paid tributes to the departed tactician.
I think Amadu will be remembered and appreciated more now in death, maybe than when he lived, because he took Nigeria to the highest level in football. Whether his allowances were paid or not paid were always a matter for speculation, but his commitment to the game was never questioned. His leadership ability was never in doubt, and his accomplishments are well in our records.
We have lost one of our best hands as far as coaching career is concerned in Nigeria. This should serve as a reminder to all of us. We know, all of us, we know that we are going to die. But when it will come is what we don't know. We need to, be closer to God all the time.
His family members recall the last interactions with him.
He always tells me one thing, that I should forget the fact that he's famous or another, that I have to work hard. He worked hard. He tried his possible best to make sure that he puts food on the table for me and my siblings.
He's just like a tree at the backyard of the house that has just fallen down, and hero has gone. So there's nothing we can do, because it's God that giveth and it's him that taketh, and it's him that will please us again.
Before leaving the compound, Governor Shumule takes time out to console the mother of Coach Shuaibu and other members of his family. Considered one of the finest coaches the nation has ever produced, Shuaibu Amadu's resume as a football coach is outstanding. He led the defunct BCC Lions of Boko in Benue State to domestic as well as continental honors, and later moved to coach El Kanami Warriors FC, 3SC, Orlando Pirates of South Africa, as well as the nation's senior national team, the Super Eagles.
May the soul of Shuaibu Amadu rest in peace. And, well, let me just quickly introduce to you Ian Uchumachuku, news editor, Sporting Life. I don't know that we've had this kind of week before. It's an unbelievable week. Last week, Keshi, June 8th, Shuaibu, 3 days after. Two of the best coaches we've ever produced. And double loss. Yeah, very difficult to, last week we literally labored through, the program because of the tragic news of Keshi's death. We were still heartbroken. Then a few days later, Shuaibu Amadu is like waking up in the morning and hearing a very tragic news. It kind of destabilizes everybody. The whole nation was in mourning mood. And you see,
it makes it more tragic because these two personalities were, two of the best. Shaibu Amadu, like the NFL president said, you can't talk about Nigerian football without Shaibu Amadu. The same thing with Keshi. Yes, one, both as a player and as a coach. But for Shaibu, the first memory that came to my mind was when he was the coach of BCC Lions. He came up with this, trendy way of dressing that distinguished him as a coach.
Announced him as the leader of the new generation of coaches.
It always, during games, wearing a tie and very presentable shirt. He was able to leave the shadows of that generation. Coaches like James Peters, Alabi SN. He assisted James Peters at BBC, and later he became the coach. So he was the kind of trailblazer. He a pace setter. Brought so much razzmatazz, brought so much excitement to coaches and to coaching. And at a time when a lot of young players were nowhere to be found, he took up the gauntlet. And his own case was unique. What so many coaches are doing now, ex-players, they start from the top. But Shaibu Amadu started as a local coach and, won himself so much accolade, battled through, won
went outside the shores of Nigeria.
Yes, won the now defunct Mandela Cup. That was the Winners' Cup with BCC Lions of Boko. With players that you could no star player. Apart from maybe Moses Pako and one other player. He won that continental.
He threw them up.
He threw them up.
Pako played in his team, and he announced Pako to the
national team.
The national team.
So when Westerhoff left after the World Cup, he took up that responsibility. I remember the first game against England, a friendly in Wembley. And Shaibu Amadu was able to impose his personality, his style. The apprehension before that time was no local coach could, match the ego of the foreign-based player, but he was able to check the egos of the foreign-based players. He was also able to 2 times qualify Nigeria for the World Cup. Unfortunately, under some circumstances that we cannot explain here, he was not able to lead the Eagles to the World Cup. And all the times that he was in charge, he was able to leave his mark. He also went to Shooting Stars and got to the final of the CAF Champions League that year. And so many other. In fact, in South Africa, we learned. You also remember that he qualified
Orlando Pirates.
For
three finals. It was in 3 finals.
Major finals, but unfortunately,
he didn't win anyone.
So we can talk on and on and on of Shaibu Amadu's achievements.
He coached the Super Eagles 4 times, Oyin. 4 times, and
unprecedented.
And the instructive part for me was that his first time was in his early 30s. He showed very early in his life the responsibility of leading Nigeria fell on his shoulders from very early in his life. And, it's unforgettable, really, in terms of what he was able to contribute to the game. It's simply unforgettable.
And he was still contributing to him, each time he was, called upon to come and deliver seminar. Rescue mission. He was tagged the Gus Hindik of Nigeria. Remember that each time Chelsea had issues, they brought back Gus Hindik, and Shaibu Amadu was always ready to assist, to rescue Nigeria from troubled waters. And he delivered seminars, countless seminars, to help upcoming coaches, navigate their way through the coaching job. And not only in Nigeria, he also went outside the shores of Nigeria to deliver seminars. His contribution was indelible. We can't forget such a coach.
All right, we wanted to talk to us about all of this on the show tonight, and tell us exactly what you think we can do to keep the memory of these 2 coaches alive, and by extension, what we should be doing as a nation to preserve the life of our coaches. We need to do a lot more to keep these guys alive for much longer. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return from the break, there's still plenty more for us to talk about on Sports Tonight. So please join us again.